With less than a week until the election, the president is whining that the media spends too much time covering COVID and signaling his intent to steal the election through the Supreme Court. For more on this, it's time for a closer look. At some point, it's hard to find new ways to describe how awful Donald Trump is. If you bought stock in Thesaurus.com 4 years ago, congrats on becoming a millionaire. I mean, what else is there to say? He's just a vicious, monstrous, deeply repellent figure who's willing to hurt anyone and do anything to claim the power. For example, yesterday he was in Michigan, where he's repeatedly incited threats against the governor, Gretchen Whitmer. A few weeks ago, the FBI broke up an alleged plot by right-wing terrorists to kidnap Whitmer. And on Tuesday, Trump seemed to suggest that actually that might not be a problem.
Your governor, I don't think she likes me too much. Hey, I'm the one. It was our people that helped her out with her problem. I mean, we'll have to see if it's a problem, right? People are entitled to say maybe it was a problem, maybe it wasn't. It was our people, my people, our people that helped her out. And then she blamed me for it.
The FBI is not your people, and if they are your people sure put a lot of your other people in jail. It's the iron law of Trump. Anytime you think he can't get worse as a human being, he finds a way. He's like the Usain Bolt to being an ass, just keeps breaking his own world records, even stands like he's leaning over the finish line. I broke the tape. Are you saying you think it maybe wasn't a problem that a bunch of right-wing terrorists planned to stage a coup and kidnap the governor of Michigan? My God. Trump loses, he's going to have to move to a cabin in the woods and grow a Unabomber beard. Of course, even if he did move to a cabin in the woods, we'd probably be able to find him. And by the way, according to the authorities, this plot wasn't just hypothetical. Federal officials released chilling videos of training exercises and chat messages where the suspects discussed their plans. One of the co-defendants wrote to his co-conspirators, and this is real. Okay, well, how's everyone feel about kidnapping? Not that it makes it any less terrifying, but these guys are such dip. You couldn't even use emojis? How's everyone feel about woman, car, bag of money? They talked about a terrorist plot to wage a coup and kidnap the governor like they were ordering takeout. Well, I'm fine with kidnapping, but Ken wants Thai. Ken, we had Thai last week. Well, what if we do Thai and kidnapping? Because then if the Thai shows up first, everyone's going to eat it. No one's going to want to do the kidnapping. Ken, we've been over this. Trump also keeps falsely insisting Michigan is still locked down, even though it definitely is not. He's made this lie a staple of his rallies in the state.
You got to get your governor to open up your state, okay? You'd be doing even better if you had a governor that knew what the hell she was doing. You got to open up the state. Open up your state, Madam Governor. Open up your state instead. I mean, your governor's a disaster. They got to open up this. They got to open up this state. Hey, Governor, let your state open. Get your states opened up. And this governor should get her state opened up. She keeps everybody locked up like a prison.
It's not locked down like a prison. You're there. You're holding a giant rally in Michigan. If they were locked down, the last person they'd let in would be the super spreader in chief. This is what Trump does. Throughout his entire campaign and presidency, his political success has depended in large part on his willingness to distort plain, observable reality. And he doesn't just lie about obscure or complicated things. He lies about simple, straightforward things we can all see and hear with our eyes and ears, like a weather map. I mean, no one was fooled by that. We all know what Sharpie looks like. When New Yorkers get on the subway, no one says, "Ooh, looks like the cast of Suits has mustaches this season." And now Trump is once again trying to warp reality. 37 states are seeing spikes in coronavirus cases, which are up 39% across the country. We're seeing new records for daily cases. Deaths are up 13%. Hospitals in hotspots are overwhelmed, like in El Paso, where there's been a 300% increase in hospitalizations since the start of October. But the president has been insisting that despite what you can see with your own eyes, everything is fine. And he's been whining that the media won't stop talking about the deadly virus killing hundreds of Americans every day.
Here's a tweet from the president today. The fake news media is writing COVID, 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 he tweeted, all the way to the election. Losers.
Until November 4th, fake news media is going full on COVID, COVID, COVID.
All the fake news media wants to talk about is COVID, COVID, COVID.
The news, the CNN, all they talk about, COVID, 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 COVID. All Biden and his handlers in the media want to talk about today is COVID, COVID, COVID. You know that. You turn on this network, there's COVID, 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 COVID. That's all I hear. Turn on television, right? COVID, 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 COVID.
Sounds like he's looking at the White House staff photo. COVID, COVID, COVID jail. COVID, COVID fired. COVID son-in-law, COVID. He's jealous of a virus. He sounds like he's complaining to his agent about an actor who got a party wanted. COVID, COVID, COVID. Everyone's talking about COVID. I thought you told me I was a lock for people's sexiest virus alive. Trump is so mad, he's gone full Hodor. Sounds like a character from the COVID expansion pack for The Sims. COVID, 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 COVID. And if it seems to you like Trump is jealous of all the media coverage COVID's been getting, you're not alone. President Obama mocked Trump's whining at a rally in Florida on Tuesday.
This week, with everything that's happening, you know what he brought up? He was fussing about the crowd size at the inauguration again, saying his was bigger. Who is thinking about that right now? Nobody except him. And what's his closing argument? That people are too focused on COVID. He said this at one of his rallies. COVID, 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 he's complaining. He's jealous of COVID's media coverage.
Best thing about Obama on the campaign trail is the return of stand-up Obama. And another thing. What's up with everyone posting pics of banana bread during quarantine? Like they're contestants on the Great British Bake Off. You look more like a Great British jerk-off. What else? What else? Now, we knew Trump was going to be pissed that Obama roasted him, but to add insult to injury, Trump's favorite TV channel, Fox News, aired Obama's speech, and Trump was not happy about it.
To what President Obama said at this speech? I only saw he was on Fox, and Fox puts him on all the time, and they put Sleepy Joe on all the time. Now, Fox is very disappointing that Fox puts on this. This would not have happened with Roger Ailes, I can tell you that.
I do love when Obama gets under Trump's skin. I got to see it up close and personal at the Correspondents' Dinner in 2011. They say that was the night Obama caused Trump to run for president. Fine, it was him and McKay Coppins. Those two have a lot to answer for. And just a reminder, Roger Ailes had so many credible sexual assault allegations against him, he had to resign from Fox News. That's like getting kicked out of the NXIVM cult for being too good at volleyball. That's the takeaway of that doc, right? I only watched a couple episodes. I feel like that's the gist. Pro volleyball. Aside from everything else that's grotesque and nauseating about Trump, he's also just an insufferable pant little baby. He whines about everything. I mean, honestly, who enjoys listening to this? It's like taking your grandfather to a fancy restaurant. Hey, put us near the kitchen. Can you believe this? Ask if we can move. We can't move, Grandpa. Our food isn't even cooked. That's carpaccio, Grandpa. Why are there two forks? And now we with our hands. Trump will accept nothing less than universal praise, validation, and victory. He thinks he's entitled to it, and he'll whine until he gets it. That's why he's attacking the integrity of the election and telegraphing that he wants his new 6-3 conservative supermajority on the Supreme Court to steal it for him.
Hopefully, the few states remaining that want to take a lot of time after November 3rd to count ballots, that won't be allowed by the various courts, because as you know, we're in courts on that. We just had a big victory yesterday in Wisconsin on that matter. So hopefully that won't be happening.
I think we're doing very well. We're going to have an exciting night. It would be very, very proper and very nice if a winner were declared on November 3rd instead of counting ballots for 2 weeks, which is totally inappropriate, and I don't believe that that's by our laws.
Okay, first of all, why does it sound so threatening when Trump says we're going to have an exciting night? It's like hearing Jigsaw say, I want to play a game. Second, ballots that get counted after midnight on election night are still valid ballots. Nowhere in the Constitution or in federal law does it say all ballots must be counted by 11:59 p.m. on November 3rd. Election night is just a thing, invented by radio and TV channels for ratings, like May Sweeps or the Kardashian family. I mean, none of them are even related. 2 of them are CGI. I mean, would a real person tweet about a birthday party on a private island in the middle of a pandemic? Oh, really? They did? But just one tweet? A thread. Huh. Point is, Republicans pretend to be originalists who adhere to the strict meaning of the Constitution, but back when the Constitution was written, you think they counted all the ballots on election night? Back then, it took 2 weeks to get a letter to someone in the next state, and you had to ride a horse until it died. That's why Inauguration Day was originally in March. John Adams needed 4 months just to unfurrow his brow. I am vexed, Abigail. Again, that's a pretty decent Giamatti as John Adams impression. I'm just saying, it's worth watching the miniseries. And I think if you do, you'll say, huh. So the Republican Party's new position is that any ballot received after Election Day should not be counted, even if it was postmarked by Election Day, which would radically alter how we've conducted elections in this country for decades. And conservatives on the Supreme Court are already signaling that they're ready to go along with this absurd new standard. The court's conservative majority refused on Monday to extend Wisconsin's deadline for receiving absentee ballots to 6 days after the election. And Justice Brett Kavanaugh wrote one of the sloppiest, most incoherent opinions in recent memory, repeating the Trump claim that ballots counted after Election Day are somehow suspicious.
In his written opinion, Justice Brett Kavanaugh, Trump appointee, said elections have to end sometime. Quote, states want to avoid the chaos and suspicions of impropriety that could ensue if thousands of absentee ballots flow in after Election Day and potentially flip the results of an election.
What are you talking about? If there are more ballots to count, then that means there are no results to flip. That's like ending a football game after the third quarter because fourth quarter touchdowns would flip the score, which is ridiculous and also impossible if you're playing the Jets. We did our best, fellas. But coach, there's still the fourth quarter. Yeah, I might just head out. Beat the traffic. Kavanaugh's opinion was also riddled with incredibly lazy errors. He favorably quoted a legal scholar who was actually arguing in favor of extending postmark deadlines, repeatedly confused receipt deadlines with submission deadlines, and wrote that other states such as Vermont, by contrast, have decided not to make changes to their ordinary election rules, which is not true. Vermont decided to mail a ballot to every registered voter and authorize ballot processing 30 days before the election to speed up vote counting. Oh no, is this one of those classic I like beer situations? If you want to know what Vermont's up to, just Google it or sit quietly in your office and wait for Bernie Sanders to yell about it. Everyone in Vermont gets a ballot and a sticker. I don't like the sticker because it leaves a residue on my good shirt. This is the GOP's con. Slow down mail service, limit the number of drop boxes, then claim ballots that arrive later invalid. For example, Texas Governor Greg Abbott limited drop-off locations for mail-in ballots to 1 per county. Meanwhile, Republicans in Pennsylvania blocked attempts to allow counties to start processing mail ballots before Election Day. Basically, if Republicans had their way, there would be exactly 1 ballot drop box for the entire country, somewhere in the Mojave Desert, and you'd only be able to use it on odd-number days between the hours of 3 and 4 a.m. after crossing a bridge and answering 3 riddles from Rudy Giuliani. Riddle me this. How would you get a mic off without untucking your shirt? You know what Giuliani's catchphrase used to be, Shoemaker? Oh, what was it? My cousin! It couldn't be any clearer that Trump and his allies on the Supreme Court are telegraphing their plan to orchestrate a sequel to Bush v. Gore by hoping Trump is ahead on election night and then prematurely declaring him the winner before all the votes are counted. And now they have yet another reliable ally in their scheme with the confirmation of Amy Coney Barrett. Barrett is such a loyal Trump disciple, she made the stunning decision to appear with Trump at what was effectively a White House campaign rally on Monday, and in a subsequent campaign-style video just 8 days before a presidential election she might have to rule on. Yes, the independent judiciary, just how the framers imagined it. You know how bummed John Adams would be to see that? Be walking around the house saying, Abigail, I am perturbed, Abigail. I am... Dang it. Pull up thesource.com. And if you're a Barrett supporter, you might argue that she can accept a nomination from a president without endorsing his character. But once she shares the same balcony with the Roger Ailes apologist who's still on the fence as to whether or not a plot to kidnap a governor is a good or bad thing, you can right off. The plan is clear. Trump and the GOP are doing everything they can to suppress and undermine mail-in voting, hoping they can prematurely declare victory on election night with the help of the Supreme Court. There's one way we can stand up to this, and it's by voting in overwhelming numbers to repudiate Trump and his enablers. If enough of us do that, then we can have an outcome that is both
very proper and very nice.
This has been A Closer Look. God's Love We Deliver cooks and brings over 2 million meals a year to men, women, and children living with HIV, AIDS, cancer, and other serious illnesses, and they need your help now more than ever. If you're watching this online, you can hit the donate button. Stay safe, wash your hands, wear a mask. We love you.